Hello everyone, and welcome to this first webinar dedicated to LEDGER, the Human-Centric Venture Builder Program, which is funded by the European Commission under Horizon 2020. I am Cassandra Holden, and I will be your host for today's webinar. So if you have audio issues, please dial the number which is on the screen, so +33 97 10 72 67 and 1. With the access code 34 36 57 19 3. So thank you for your interest in this webinar. I know you are all very excited to know more about LEDGER. As you know, this project is a real game changer in decentralized technologies, and we're very happy to give you our details and explain further what the project is all about. So this will be an interactive session. We will have a number of questions to give to you at the end, and we have a Q&A session. So if you can ask anything, you need to send all your questions in the question box. You can find this on the right corner of your screen, where you can send directly all your questions. It's written directly in on the toolbar questions. So I am very pleased to welcome our speakers today. We have Andres Sanchez-Sandaza, who is the Director of FundingBox Communities and also Project Manager of LEDGER. Hello, Andres.
Hi, hello, Cassandra. Pleased to be here.
It's a pleasure. We also have Dennis Jaromil-Rovo, Technical Officer of Dyn.org, who's also deeply involved in the LEDGER project. Hello, Jaromil.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Cassandra. Thank you for the introduction.
Thank you. And myself, Cassandra Holden, Innovation Developer at Bluemorpho, so a happy partner of the LEDGER project as well. So here's a quick overview of who we are in this consortium. Andres, I can let you start.
Yes. Well, can you put the slide? And
oh, on the FundingBox. Can you present FundingBox quickly?
Sure. Okay. Well, FundingBox is the leader of the project. We are 3 partners here, and in FundingBox, we are building a community of makers, entrepreneurs, innovators. We are already around 17,000 people in the community. We are growing this up. Basically, what we try to do is to help people, projects, organizations to grow. And we do this mostly through offering funding opportunities as this one, and we have in different verticals like robotics, circular economy, and so on. That's basically what we do.
Great. Jaromil, do you want to give a couple words about Dyn.org?
Sure. We are a non-profit foundation. We exist since the 2005 as a foundation in the Netherlands, and working with the European Commission on various projects, Decode, Decent, on decentralization technologies, mostly participative democracy, and Common Fair, also to actually explore the adoption of complementary currencies for self-determination, constituency, and self-management of groups of people. We are looking forward to actually coach new and propositive projects in the space of free and open source software. We are maintaining an open source operating system, which is Dev1, and many other pieces of software that can be combined, hopefully in a very easy, constructive way to help the project. This is our first time mentoring such a big funding project, and our team is very excited actually for it to start. So we are looking forward to know you and also to reply your questions today.
Great, thank you, Jaromil. So through a few words about Bluemorpho. So we are lean innovation doers. So we're working in partnering mode to design an open ecosystem to accelerate innovation. So we are working in deep tech, digital, and smart system. So what does it mean? Basically, we're working on bankable challenges, and we are identifying solutions expected by our key players who are ready to invest in and looking for the right people to solve their expectations. So if the solutions are not ready yet, we are here to help the development of those solutions. And what we're doing, we're working with the whole ecosystem, so design, working with the large corporates, private investors, research organizations, startups, SMEs, and institutions to achieve this disruptive innovation. So for the past 2 years now, we have been conducting specific actions in decentralized technology, so especially in blockchain, but not dedicated to fintech. We'll be happy to collaborate with you on this project, where we will be working on the mentoring, with our community of 16,000 different contacts, which is focused on industrial players and covering 24 different vertical business. So our role in the project will be to provide the different business mentoring and fundraising that you will need in your development. So now I have a first question for you to break the ice. Don't worry, it's a very easy question. It's, did you start your application to the LEDGER call? So you can answer this on the poll, which will be directly featuring on your screen. Okay, so we can see that the answers are coming in. We'll wait a couple seconds more. Okay, so we have quite heterogeneous results. So this is great. Some of you have already started, some not. So it's the great time to actually start your questions, ask your questions, and learn more about this project to get ready as much as you can. So this gives us a great opportunity to explain LEDGER in more details. Andreas will give us an overview of the project and the eligibility criteria on how to apply, followed by Jérôme, who will explain us the Venture Builder program. And to wrap up, we will have a live Q&A session where you can express all the questions you would like to share.
Okay.
Jérôme, now I let you.
Thank you, Cassandra. So, well, what is LEDGER? Well, LEDGER is a project, as Cassandra said, founded by the European Commission. It's within the Next Generation Internet program umbrella from the European Commission. Basically, what we are trying to do in this project and within the Next Generation Internet is to change how Internet is built, to revert the trend and build a new Internet where people are at their core. Basically, at LEDGER, our mission is to give back to the citizens the control over their data. As you know, this is a hot topic right now. You know, we have all the big corporates retaining data, but we want to give back this control over the data to the citizens. How we are going to do this? We are going to do this through a venture builder for human-centric solutions. So as our claim says, we are about human-centric solutions. We are about finding solutions that empower people. And we believe that currently, maybe, probably, the best way to do this using decentralized technologies, like blockchain, peer-to-peer, or distributed ledger technology. But we are not restricted to this. We are broader than that. Basically, if you have a solution where you can help to build this new internet, you may find your gap here. So within this concept, we are looking for 32 projects. 32 projects to build minimum viable products where privacy by design, openness, and citizen data sovereignty are core for them. Next slide. So basically, what we are looking is for these 32 projects, and what we are offering to them is several things. Maybe the most attractive thing, for at least from the beginning, is the 200,000 euros equity free that this project can get. And we are going to select this project through 2 open calls. As you probably know, the first open call was launched the 1st January. Will be open until the 30th April. So you have a bit of time to prepare your proposals, to shape your teams, and to apply here. Next. And here you have a summary of the things the program offers, because we think that equity is maybe the candy to attract you, but we offer much more than that. This is about building MVPs. This is about products We are not supporting commercialization itself, but we want to help you to enter the program and develop a product that can reach the market in not that long time of period. But for that period, for that venture program, we will be offering you mentoring at technological level, but also at business level. We will be providing you access to investors, PR exposure, and so on. We are a consortium where we have 3 partners, as you know, and we complement each other really well, in the sense that FundingBox is really good in community building, in running open calls. Time brings all the technological knowledge, and Blue Morpho the possibility to access to investors and to take the project to the market. So this is the value proposition of the project. Next slide. And we are going to focus in 6 verticals. The ones that you are seeing in the screen, that are health, economy, mobility, public services, energy and sustainability, and 6th vertical that is open innovation, quite wide open. Just in case you have a project that doesn't fit in the others, you can apply to this. There is a detailed document, what we call the work program, that you can access to it in our website, where you can see much more detailed information about what we are looking for in these verticals. I think this is the quick overview of the project. We'll have time for questions later, but yeah, I think Cassandra.
Okay, so a next live question for our audience. In which of these verticals are you planning to, or did you apply into? So as you know, we have health, economy, mobility, public service, energy and sustainability. You should have the poll that is on your screen or sharing in direct live mode. So we see the answers coming in. We'll wait a couple seconds. It's very good. Many people plan to apply in health and public services, which is very interesting to see. So don't hesitate also to ask your questions during the final Q&A. Okay. Now let's go on to the technical support with Jaromir.
Thanks, Cassandra. Hi again, everyone. So for our journey together that we envision to be 9 months long, really the birth of MVP, we think that it will be most productive to have a lot of contact with the teams, and that's why we call researcher in residence the role that a mentor from DynOrg, our organization, will take within your team. So what we mean with that is that we expect your team to be able to deliver the technologies that you intend to develop into a minimum viable product, but still with the help of an experienced person that can actually guide with suggestions and research really on the field on what is the best technological solution that actually can lead us to success in a way that is lean, that is progressive, and that doesn't involve too much work on technology, but actually more work on the actual people, on the targets that we want to cater. And so this technical mentoring will unfold in 4 bootcamps stages, but it will start first with a welcome event. This will be on the first week of July. And in this welcoming event, it will be the moment in which we assign the mentors, 1 mentor from Blue Morpho and 1 from Dyn, which will be really this researcher in residence. You will also have then an overview of experts and the scenarios of software stacks that we can use after we have studied all the projects that have been awarded, so the beneficiaries. And basically, from there on, we will start having weekly contacts. We will have stand-ups every week, and also the researcher in residence in Dyn will actually use everything that is possible to use in terms of knowledge we have in-house to inform you about possibilities. Then we will follow up with the other 3 boot camps. So the second bootcamp step will be mostly an inception step. It will be very close to the welcome event. You see it on the graph as a star. It will be probably 4-6 weeks after the welcome event. And that's where we evaluate the roadmap of the teams, and we will have an inception. So we will try to build requirements out of your ideas and the targets really that you envision. Then there will be a lot of work in between, of course, but also it will condense in a 3rd bootcamp, which will be way more focused than the others on a tech sprint, on actually getting things done. It will be more intensive. It will likely be in October this year, and it will also get involved more experts of each single vertical. We expect to actually spend quite some time together during that bootcamp. Perhaps it will be split if needed across verticals in order to give enough space to each team. And well, in my own experience, nothing really big was ever done without spending a good night together, cracking our heads on the problem. So that will be probably that sort of experience. Get out the passion for the projects and trying to get them done ready for the 4th bootcamp. The 4th one will be more sustainability oriented. It will be actually the bootcamp where we evaluate the minimum viable product readiness and we pilot it. So probably we'll be on the sites that best are affected, best relate to each project. So an on-site experimentation, leaving us a little bit more space to actually adjust the user experience and what is being done in the software and for the participants. And basically, that is also the moment in which Blue Morpho will share their expertise on how to make the project sustainable and eventually bring it to a good business pitch if that is the intention of participants. And I think that's mostly it. I'm looking forward to your questions.
Okay, so the next step that we're going to present is the business mentoring, so from Blue Morpho. So for the business mentoring, it's important to understand that we're not guru-like. We don't believe in guru, actually. The business mentors can't know everything, and it's more importantly, we need to put the team in the right ecosystem to learn from the potential partners, the customer, and the customer feedback. So the way we are working, we are applying the lean innovation model, which is known as the lean startup. So we can challenge you with the ideas on your potential markets and fine-tune your project with you and accompany you. By doing so, we're doing that within our community of 16,000 different contacts in the 24 different business verticals, so that you're not taking any risk. You become visible to the market and community only when you wish and when your project is strong enough. Our lean innovation approach leads to 2 major points. We define and validate with you your business model and check your market visibility. And when you are able to show the market traction and business value, you're ready to collect the relevant financing and present you to the right investors, business angel, and all private investments. So of course, since we are active for more than 2 years in decentralized technologies, we have a great network in the field as well, and we can also bring you access to specific needs and contacts in terms of key experts in decentralized technologies, blockchain, peer-to-peer, and others. So if we have to summarize the business mentoring we are providing for the Venture Builder project, it would be 2 words. It would be pragmatic and agile. Our goal is that at the end of the program, you have gained a lot of time in your development phase and also on the deployment to market. So now I will let Andreas lead for the eligibility criteria. So I'll let you take over the hand.
Thank you, Cassandra. All right, so let's go to the application process. Well, as you know, this is an easy funded project, so we are quite strict with the requirements and we try to be as transparent as we can. That will go through the full process. You all probably know that to apply through our website, there is a direct link that will drive you to the FundingBox platform, where you need to create a profile and then start the application processes. But first question, who can apply? Well, in this occasion, this is not just about the organizations, it's about teams. So you don't even need to have an organization set to apply to the project. So the minimum requirement is either a team of 3 natural persons, and then you need from those 3 people, minimum 3 people has at least someone with some background in academic research, a developer, and a business developer or entrepreneur. So basically, you need at least 3 people with these 3 roles. Your team can be much bigger, and indeed, we encourage to have more developers in the team, as we think that to develop a proper MVP, you will need a stronger effort in doing code and developing this. But that is the minimum requirement. You can either be 3 natural persons, or you can apply from an organization or even a consortium of 2 organizations. But still, we will require that in that organization you have those 3 profiles: academic researcher, developer, technical developer, and business development entrepreneur person. You need to be established in the EU or in associated countries. In the case that you have a team of people and you are not an organization, what you will be requested is that the people will be placed in Europe along the duration of the Venture Builder program. So you could still be in the USA and apply for this, but you will have to, if you are on one of the awarded projects, you will have to get a compromise and sign a document saying, promising that you are going to be in Europe at least for the 9 to 12 months that the program will last. And that is, we are also making quite a lot of emphasis in the gender balance teams. So we encourage that the mixed teams, and indeed this is even something that we are giving points in the evaluation. So if your team is not gender balanced, then you won't be able to get the full punctuations in the process. Okay, I guess we'll have a few questions, or maybe 1 or 2 questions about this, but we'll leave it for the Q&A. So can we? Okay. So what kind of projects are we looking for? Okay, we call them technology transfer experiment. That is a bit the terminology from the European Commission, but basically we want projects that, as I said before, they have some academic, some research components. So they have to be, that's why we are asking for a researcher engine team, because we want the projects that they go in the line of the state of the art, and that they are relevant to the topic of privacy by design and distributed data governance. As I say, this is about returning the control of citizens over their data, and this is a human-centric venture builder. So we want the projects to have some impact in the citizens. That's crucial for us. And this is about building MVPs, about building products. You may even have a product on place and you want to build on top of that. That could be feasible, but we are not going to give you the money just to make marketing or anything like that. And of course, within the philosophy of the project is that whatever product you produce has to be compliant with open licenses, like open hardware, open software, and Creative Commons. So the application process, yes, as I said, at FundingBox, we have run many of those projects, and we are quite expert on this, and we are following the methodologies that the European Commission implemented in the projects. So we try to be really transparent, and the process is really open. So as you know, you may know, there is a form that you have to fulfill, as I say, in the FundingBox platform, where you have some requirements, and you have to fulfill everything there. There are some supporting documents there that are highly recommendable to read, mostly the guide for applicants. There you will find almost solutions to most of your questions. So that is the key documents, the reference document. You have the FAQ, where you can find the answer to specific questions. So we highly recommend you to read them before applying. Once you do the submission, that, as I say, is the 30th April, the deadline, so still a bit of time, but you may need to find for someone to complement your team. You may need to find people to have gender balance, so that's why we are also giving a bit of time. Once you submit the proposal, then we first will go through the minimum requirements. So if you don't comply with what is the minimum things that we are asking for, you won't pass through the evaluation, but all those that pass will make what we call a pre-scoring, and they will go through an external evaluation phase. So I think that is a good point to show that this is not something where we are going to choose, and that it's going to be really transparent, and that we are going to have external evaluators that has no a clear relation with us, or if they have it, they won't be able to evaluate any proposal that is in any way connected to them. So every evaluator will sign non-conflict of interest paper, and will keep this quite straight and clear to avoid any kind of misinterpretation. So when we do that, we will build a ranking. In this first call, as some of you know, we are selecting 16 projects. From the evaluation, we will select 32 that will go to the jury day. The jury day will be the final step in the evaluation, where the selected team will have to go physically to a location. That it could be, it will be in Europe, it could be Warsaw, it could be Paris, Amsterdam, is to be decided, but we'll try that it will be central. And there they will be pitching, and the same day we will be evaluating and selecting the companies. So that same day, the companies that will be selected for the venture program will know it. So yes, we'll take 32 companies to the jury day. We'll be selecting 16. I think that's it for the moment. Yeah.
Okay.
This is the information. So Cassandra.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andres. So as a summary, you know that the open call is already open since the 1st of February and will end on the 30th of April. So do not hesitate to apply. You can apply directly at ledgerproject.eu on the Ledger website for the first open call. Now let's pass on to the Q&A session. So please feel free to send your questions in the question box below that you can find on the right side of your screen. So I have a first question. So what is your definition of a researcher and to be part of the team? Does it need to have a PhD, be affiliated to a university? Can it be about informal research published? Jaromil, Andres?
Yes, all right. You don't need to be a PhD, okay? There is a minimum requirement that is that you have done at least the basic master to access to a PhD, but you don't have to have done your thesis. So this is what the principle we are using here is based on the Marie Curie's fellowships. Basically, that's the minimum requirement, that someone in your team has done at least the master to access to a PhD. There were more questions in the question, no? I don't know if I have answered all. Cassandra? I don't.
No, I think it was pretty clear. You don't have to be affiliated to a university or PhD. It's more about the research status.
Okay. Cool.
Another question. Could you indicate when the second ledger open call will open?
Okay. That is still undecided. Initially, it was going to be January next year, but it may happen that we make it before, as the European Commission, we are in talk with them, and they suggested to it. It may be in October, but it may be on February. That is not fully clear right now, but those are the two dates that we are managing.
Okay. We have another question about the entrepreneur status. What do you mean by entrepreneur? In my case, I'm a researcher at University of Milan, but as a founder of a startup, is this considered as entrepreneur?
Yes, I think so. But I guess in your case, you may need someone else. You cannot occupy the two positions, be a researcher and an entrepreneur. But of course, an entrepreneur or business development guy is someone who is going to take care of the business. What we try with this is that if we intend that the project has an academic component, we want that they also have someone who is a bit business oriented, who can help to shape the business model and to try to take the product to the market if feasible.
Thank you for your answer. We have another question here. We've been developing an idea for a service which is closing a gap between stakeholders' needs. We have an idea of the technology we need, but we don't have a developer in the team. Do we need it, or can we identify the right person in the second phase?
Well, mostly you need a developer to start with. You need a person that has some senior position and knows well how to organize the technical work. And then you can also take other people to work with you in a second moment, because you have a lot of freedom of how to use this funding. And it can be enough for a bigger team, of course. So that's up to you. But it's important that you put forward in the team of 3 people an expert, a technical expert that gives an idea also to the jury if you are able to actually deliver what you are planning.
Okay, that's pretty clear. Very clear. Another question. We're a team based in the UK. We have a limited company. What's the situation with the UK at the moment in terms of application criteria? So are the people in UK eligible to this EU project?
They are for the moment, but that is to be what happened really with the Brexit. In any case, I will say that even if you are in the UK, you don't need to be an entity. So you may decide, if you apply and finally Brexit happens, you could still be beneficiary if you later move to Europe, to the rest of Europe, to what are the countries in Europe. In the European Union, I want to say, of course.
Okay. Okay, we have many questions still coming in. Is there a forum where we can find our tech partners if our consortium does not yet have one? So I guess this question is wondering if to find developers to complete their team, if I understand right?
Well, the web is full of developers, depending which fora you go to. We have many at Dyn.org. You can have a look at our mailing lists and our projects that are running. We have communities that span from 100 to 4,000 people of participants. So I invite everyone to start from the free and open source communities and then to Dyn.org and find your affinity and then team up with people also, if distant, that doesn't matter, because with this funding, you can also imagine to have relocations managed over the period of development. So I would say stick to the plan. Free and open source software and all the fora that you can find online are a big start.
Okay. We have another question here. Do all people have to work full-time on the project? The researcher, developer, and the business developer? Or some of them can work part-time? For example, the developer works almost full-time, the researcher 20%, and the business developer 40%.
Well, there is not a requirement to be full-time. Of course, I guess the evaluators, if they see a bigger implication, that will be a positive thing for them to evaluate. We even encourage to have bigger teams than 3. That maybe if you have some people part-time, you need more than 3 people involved. But ideally, we would like to see at least 3 people full-time. That's why we are giving this big grant. It's not compulsory, but it will be quite positively assessed that you have at least three people full-time.
Thank you, Andres, for your response. Can you say something about the evaluation criteria for applications? For instance, is it preferable to have a prototype built already?
Well, that is not necessary. You can have a proof of concept, you can have a prototype, you can have a generic idea. What you need is some solid research that proves that your idea can be developed and will have an impact. An impact that puts human at the center of the equation, or nature or environment, and not just like for the sake of technical advancement. So once you have that, you can also not have an idea of what is the minimum viable product, because we will actually walk the walk together, and we will narrow it down to with many experts to what we believe will be a great success, which is in the interest of everyone. But don't be shy if you think you have a great idea, a great team that can work on it, but you don't have the time or resources now. Put it forward, back your claims with as much information and actual data as you can, and get there to the journey.
Thank you, Jeremy, for your answer. So I see questions are still coming in, so I suggest maybe we can take 5 more minutes to answer these questions, and the rest will be through email. Another question that's interesting that come in, we are a community-driven project, people all around the world. Should the whole team be located in Europe?
Well, at least the 3 people with the 3 profiles should be based in Europe. If then you should contract someone, well, that person can be outside, but at least we need to see that 3 people, if you are going to apply as a team of individuals, that the core of the team, of the people of the team are based in Europe and placed in Europe at least during 9 to 12 months of the duration of the program.
Thank you, Andres. So another question we have.
Just one comment I wanted to make, as we are seeing that we are having many questions. I want to, well, I think in the previous question were also asking about the evaluation criteria. You can find that in the guide for applicants in our website. When you go to the open call, it's a document there. And I also want to invite to all the people here who still have questions to go to our site and join the community, the LEDGER community, and you can post there your questions there, and we will be answering them. And it's a good way that all the people can access to the replies. So we will encourage to go through that route even more than email. So everything get the shared knowledge.
Thank you, Andres. Also, for information, the next webinar will be on March 14th at same time, 1 p.m. So this will be more focused on the tips and advice on how to fill in your application. So if you have already started or you are planning to, go have a look to be prepared and to have your questions ready. So as you know, we have a whole team who's here and dedicated to you. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to send us your questions by email. We have covered the time. We still have some questions coming, but please send it to us directly and we'll be happy to respond. You can contact us at these information. If you don't have any more suggestions, we can encourage you also to enter into the LEDGER team, who's fully here to dedicate and respond to all your questions or your needs, or if you have very specific information, do not hesitate also to visit our website and to join the community. So thank you for joining this webinar and spending these 45 minutes with us. We really appreciate it. And I would like to thank Andres for his very detailed presentation, and Miro, very precise and professional on handling the LEDGER processes. Thank you very much for that, and for all
Thank you, Cassandra. Great chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for attending. It was useful for everyone.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. And for our participants, you can find the recorded version of this webinar online, so you can always go back and access the information you might have missed. The slides will also be available and sent to you. So team is looking forward to support you in the LEDGER project, and good luck on your application.